Team China and Team USA recently played each other on June 20th of 2021 in the Volleyball Nations League on the women's side of things, and this match was actually a great preview of what's going to happen in the Tokyo Olympics come July 27th of 2021. Both Team USA and Team China, they're in the exact same pool for the Tokyo Olympics in Pool B, and we get to see a potential of what this could be for the potential finals, in my opinion. Both of these teams are really, really good. But ironically, on June 20th, one team came out more to play than the other. And so in today's video, we're going to discuss why this could be the potential matchup in the finals for the Olympics, and also at the same time be able to talk about what happened on this match on June 20th and what could potentially happen in the Olympics should these teams play each other, not only on July 27th, but potentially the finals as well. And guys, if you think you had liked this content for today, I ask that you please subscribe, as every subscription that we get can help grow this channel, and that you also hit the like button, as it helps with the YouTube algorithm to be able to get this video out there to people so that they can be able to hear what we are talking on this channel as well. And with that, guys, let's begin today's video. China is the defending champs from the last Olympics from Rio de Janeiro. And going into this match, you had China, who was virtually just playing their last match for the season in the Volleyball Nations League, and then get ready for the Olympics. And you had Team USA, who was getting ready to go to the Nations Volleyball League Championship. And so China had nothing to lose in this match, and Team USA was just pretty much getting ready for the semifinals matchup. But in this match, China in particular, they are actually a very, very well disciplined team and are actually very, very impressive to watch in general. I'm still kind of shocked that China didn't even get a shot at making the playoffs in the Volleyball Nations League. But it could also have been that they were having a really off time when it started, because they did finish off with a winning record in this league that they had. But it was kind of a little late when they started winning. But that being said, though, China is, like I said, a very, very impressive team. Two players in particular that sticks out for China are Zhu, number 2, and Gong, number 6 for China. Both of these players are really, really good players. Like, I cannot express how great of players they are. Film would be more justice if you guys ever get the chance to watch it. But Gong and Zhu in particular, they are really, really good at hitting, okay? The best thing about their hitting is that not only can they see the court really well, but they're very manipulative when it comes to hitting the ball. They're able to slow down their arm swing to make it look like as if they're actually going to be swinging, but in reality they're tipping. Or they're able to see where the blockers are so that they can get a better angle when hitting, and they find those openings in the block so they can get the kill. Not only that, but Gong in particular is really, really good at using wrist movements as well with her hitting. In fact, she looks like a volleyball player who spends a lot of time on the beach, and she's somehow figured out how to get her hitting from the beach onto the indoor court, because she's really good at putting her wrist down, or in this case thumb down, when hitting, which is just rotating your thumb if it's in a neutral position to the down position. And when hitting line on the outside, she's really good at keeping the thumb up when hitting, so she's able to hit line more. Gong is really, really fun to watch, and she gave Team USA a huge problem when it came to hitting, because she's just really smart at hitting and just is able to see the court really, really well. In fact, there was one point where I believe Gong had 3 blockers on her, and she was still able to get it through the block just based off the angle of the ball that she was hitting at the time. It was very impressive, and Team USA really, really struggled when it came to playing defense against them. At the same time, China is really good at serving. In fact, they're probably one of the best float serving teams I have seen in this entire Nations League, and I expect their serves to be just as good come the Olympic time as well. Gong, too, as well, is a really, really great server. I feel like she's going to be changing the game for serves in the making, because the way she was serving during the match was just unbelievable. I don't know if she was hitting on top of the ball more with her float serves, or maybe she was just making harder contact in the middle of the ball, but her jump floats were really, really good. In fact, her float serves could probably compete with most Team USA's jump serves alone, just based on how well the ball was moving when it was going over the net. So if there's anyone you want to watch, and if there's anyone you would like to try to become like, I would suggest looking at highlights of Gong, because Gong is really, really good when it comes to being able to serve the ball, and she really showed it against Team USA. Now, some other things about China that made them really great: they got 7 aces in the match. They were exposing Team USA's passing at times, and we'll cover that with Team USA in a minute. But China was really, really disciplined as a team. It was kind of like night and day watching the two play, but China was very, very well disciplined. And that discipline really showed because they were really focused on passing the ball a lot and being able to play their game against Team USA. But the thing that makes them even more disciplined, that's really, really impressive, is there are times when China plays that they could potentially have 0 errors in a match, okay? And we're talking like high-level volleyball, which is sometimes unheard of in the pro world, okay? Like you're not going to be perfect every single time, but according to the announcers from the match, China has gone through some of those matches in the tournament with as little as 0 errors in an entire match, okay? So think about it. If you're playing 5 sets against them, or even not even that, just getting swept in 3, you're playing against a team who's very well disciplined, who sees the court very well and limits their errors. And if you're a team who can limit your errors, and you're a team who has a lot of errors, and you're playing against China, that's a recipe for a disaster in the making. China is just really, really smart when it comes to playing this game. And we're not talking like they're making it look super easy. They're actually competing with Team USA, and they're just not making mistakes. I mean, they had a total of 6 errors in the match against Team USA, and this is why China also swept 2 and 3 against Team USA, and they just limit their errors. And just based on how disciplined they were in the first set alone, they blew out Team USA. They made Team USA look like a club team from high school. It was so bad. They blew out Team USA 25-10 in the first set alone. And then set 2 was normal, 25-20, and then set 3 was 25-17. But in the first set alone, they destroyed Team USA, make 25-10, okay? Now, I'm a huge Team USA fan, okay? Born in this country, will always support Team USA volleyball. But I could not believe it when China blew them out 25-10. They literally made Team USA look like a club team. And to me, that is going to be a potential huge factor on who wins the gold medal should these two teams play. Now, some things that China could work on to be a little bit better with is their out of system. Their out of system isn't the best when they're running it. There were times that there were some really good highlights from it, but China could probably use a lot more work on their out of system offense. But for the most part, they make it up with their serve receive passing just by how well of a disciplined team they are. And the other thing too that's really fun about watching China's actually, they run a really, really fast offense. Their middles for China, they could run multiple sets for the middles. They could be running 1s, 3s, slides, you name it. And China's really good at not running the same set twice in a row. That's how disciplined of a team they are. And their middles in particular, I don't think their middles ran the same set twice in a row, if I remember from watching the match. They kept mixing it up and keeping Team USA on their toes when it came to blocking. And Team USA is actually a really good blocking team in the tournament, but China kind of exposed just how well disciplined they are as a team, and were able to expose Team USA's block during the match. And finally, the last thing that needs to be mentioned, not only with Zhu and Gong with their hitting, but the whole team in general, they're really good at being able to manipulate their arm swings. I think I did cover this a little bit earlier, but their arm swings are really good across the entire board, but they're able to hit angles from top to bottom. I don't care if it's the outside or the opposite or even the middle. They're just really good at hitting angles the entire time. It's just Gong is a little bit more better than the rest of Team China, but China in general is just really good at hitting angles as a team of hitters. And so to beat them, Team USA is going to have to learn to expect the unexpected because China is very unpredictable. Usually teams are very predictable, but Team USA really did not have an answer when it came to blocking them just based on how well China was playing and how well they're able to hit the ball. So July 27th is going to be very interesting when these teams play because I do expect Team USA to make a lot of adjustments, but at the same time, I expect China to almost unpredictable at times just based on how well China was playing against Team USA. Team USA, even though they got blown out, like I had just mentioned with China, 25-10 in the first set, then 25-20, and then 25-17, Team USA still did not look as bad, even though it's going to sound really, really negative of what I'm about ready to say about them, because at times Team USA did look pretty bad in general, but on paper, Team USA was still competing at a very high level. It's just these little things that you wouldn't have noticed unless you had slowed down the film, or if you had turned off the commentary from the announcers that you could have seen this. But one thing in particular, like I said, on the paper side of things, Team USA was getting a lot of decent, perfect passes. They did struggle a lot with China's serves, but on the times that they were getting perfect passes, on paper it was perfect passes, but to the eye it was not perfect passing, okay? See, there's a huge difference. Perfect passing in the volleyball world means you're able to set 3 hitters at all times, and on paper, they were in the right spot for where the passes needed to be, except for the fact that the passes were so tight to the net that Team USA really struggled with being able to run their system, okay? So it's a very interesting combination by the fact that on paper, Team USA looked really, really good with passing, but in reality, their passing was so tight to the net, and on paper, it's a perfect pass, but Team USA just couldn't get a decent set from those passes. But that being said as well, Kimberly Hill, I really praised her a lot against Russia because I thought she was a really, really good libero. But Kimberly Hill was kind of exposed in this match for not being a good passer. In fact, almost every single serve that China was giving went to Kimberly, and Kimberly Hill as the libero this match was aced a couple times from Team China. Kimberly, it just didn't seem like she could move her feet that well in this match. Now, granted, like I had mentioned with China, Gong has a really, really good float serve in particular, and it was dropping hard and fast on Kimberly Hill. But at the same time, these are things where if you're a libero, it's just one of those things where you have to be able to know the situation and adjust based off the serve. Now, granted, China probably would have adjusted if Kimberly Hill had adjusted, so we can't give Kimberly Hill too hard of a time. But if China and Team USA do play each other again, Kimberly Hill might not need to be on the court. And I personally believe maybe you shouldn't put her on the court if you were the coach for Team USA, just based off the fact that China's strategy is to serve Kimberly a lot. But the other thing, too, that's interesting is China served about 71% of their serves at one point to Area 1 against Team USA. And I kept thinking about why Area 1 in particular. And the only thing I could come up with after reflecting on it all day or just thinking about it in general after the match was Area 1 is probably a huge weakness for Team USA in general when it comes to serve receive. And the reason being is that Team USA tends to struggle with anything to the right side of their passing, it seems like. Now, maybe it's just China had a really tough serve, or maybe it's just something Team USA hasn't worked on, but it looks like on the film alone that China exposed Team USA's anything to their right side. Team USA is going to struggle, it seems like, on the right side. And we got to look into more film into that to see if that's the reason why Team USA was struggling. But it just seems like the right side of Team USA might be the weakness at this time. The other thing, too, that needs to be mentioned is that Andrea Drews was pretty much the only one who could pretty much compete with the hitters of China that night. Andrea Drews, she came out to play, was willing to compete at all times. But I also wonder, and I'm curious to get your guys' opinion maybe in the comments below, but Jordan Larson did not play this match. And I wonder if Team USA is purposely withholding Jordan Larson from China just so that in case they have to play him in the gold medal match, they have very little information on Jordan Larson. Now, maybe they decide on July 27th that they're going to play Jordan Larson because they need her or they need to be able to win a certain match in order to still compete for a medal. Who knows at this point? But Jordan Larson did not play for Team USA, and that has to be pointed out because Jordan Larson is a huge key component for Team USA. And when you have a combination of Larson and Drews together on the court, it's a very good combination for Team USA alone. And so I just wonder if Jordan Larson had been playing, if that would have made a huge difference in them winning the match that night. We don't know, and we don't have another parallel universe to look into to see if that would have happened, but it's something to think about as well. The other thing that needs to be mentioned too about Team USA is even though Team USA was in the right spots defensively at times to get the ball from China, because of how China was hitting the ball, it made it almost nearly impossible for Team USA's back row just to pick up the ball defensively. And that's just based off the angle of hitting the ball. It makes me wonder, in those situations, what's the best scenario? To get underneath the ball just to get it up and then have to be able to run a really good out of system offense for Team USA? Or if you're trying to really focus on getting a really good pass so that you can get your middles involved. It's a question Team USA really has to look into more, but I honestly believe against China going forward, Team USA really needs to be able to focus more on the out of ball system again, just to dig China, because they're in the right spots at times, and China is really good at reading the court really well. And granted, there were times where Team USA they were out of the spots for defense, and China really exposed that. But in the end, Team USA really needs to reflect and figure out what's more important when it comes to digging China. And I honestly think one of the best things Team USA can do is just dig China, and if it has to be an out-of-ball system hitting play, that's probably your best option to beating China. And we had mentioned this in the Russia match for Team USA, but Jordan Larson is already a decent enough player in the out-of-ball system. And if she's playing against China on the July 27th, or if this is the gold medal match in the making, Jordan Larson can take as much swings as you want, and it's going to help Team USA no matter what. So it's going to get very interesting when these two teams play each other again. The other thing too, though, is Kelsey Robinson, who's the other outside for Team USA. She did not look as dominant tonight, and I think there was a lot of pressure on Kelsey Robinson to perform well with Jordan Larson not being there. And so, in all honesty, Robinson most likely can perform a lot better when Jordan Larson's on the court with her, and obviously Jordan Larson and Drews can perform well together. So you need those three to be on the court to compete with China. Finally, the last thing that Team USA really, really needs to be able to, and this requires a lot of self-reflecting on Team USA's end. They have time to get this down, but when the Olympics come, it's game time for this. But Team USA really has to focus more on the discipline side of things. China is very, very good at limiting their errors, and we had just talked about that a few minutes ago in this video. But Team USA at times is not a very well disciplined team, and we had just mentioned a little bit about how their defense was okay to be able to compete because they were in the right spots. But in those moments that they weren't in the right spots, or if they did dig the ball or received a serve receive ball, Team USA did not seem very disciplined. Now, granted, China tends to be a culture which is, if I'm not mistaken, more serious. And that's just the way that they are as a people. And Team USA, it's not really in their culture to be more disciplined. I mean, living in the United States, I mean, we have some people who are very disciplined and others who are not. Team USA has got to be able to be more disciplined on the court. They have to realize who they are playing and what they can do, because Team China is going to take advantage of any slip-ups from any team just based on how disciplined that they are. You can be the most talented team in the world, like Team USA is currently right now, but still lose to very well-disciplined teams like China. And China really exposed that on the Team USA side. But Team USA is a very, very talented team. They have a very solid group of women together and are very, very well um, team together in general. They're just very, very talented as a group. Probably one of the most talented squads for Team USA, in my opinion, since 2008. And I remember the 2008 Beijing Olympics, and that USA team actually went and competed and won a silver in that Olympics. But that USA team was very talented. But this one in particular is a little bit more talented, it seems like, just based on the fact on who they have, what they can do, what they did in this tournament leading up to this match. I mean, up to this match, Team USA had only dropped, I think, a total of 4 sets. And then against China, they got swept in 3. And it was the first loss that Team USA had really had in an entire match, the entire time in this Nations League that they were in. And so Team USA really just needs to focus a little bit more on the discipline side of things, because the only way to beat China is to be as disciplined as China. Against other teams, they can be as how they normally are, super talented, super loud, super obnoxious, super funny, as the bench can be sometimes. But against China, you have to be a little bit like China. You have to understand how China plays in order to beat China, because China's a very well-disciplined team, makes very few errors, and those errors that they don't make, and then the ones that they do make, you have to obviously capitalize on those errors that China makes. But you have to be disciplined in order to beat China. It's the only way Team USA is going to be able to compete with China on July 27th, is they've got to be more disciplined as a team. Because I think it was also mentioned too that Team USA is on a 4-match losing streak against China. So if July 27th comes, and I think this is number 5 now, you're looking at a potential 6-game losing match streak against China. And I think discipline is going to be a huge key factor for Team USA on whether or not they can compete again on July 27th. That's it for today's video, guys. This match, I believe, and like I keep saying, I believe I said this early in the video, this match could potentially be the gold medal match in the Olympics. Okay, China's the defending champs. You have Team USA, who's looking to win a gold medal for the first time in a long time. Okay, you have Jordan Larson, who's trying to get her first gold medal on Team USA. Jordan Larson already has a silver, and she already has a bronze. She's looking for that gold. You have China who's looking to defend, like I just mentioned. The story is there, and this could potentially be the new version of the Miracle on Ice, except it would be the Miracle on the wood floor. Team USA and China, when they play each other on July 27th, could give us a preview of the potential finals. And then if these teams do play each other in the finals, this could be a very fun and exciting match to watch if both of these teams work on the things that had been mentioned and they continue to improve as a team in general. I'm excited for the Olympics, guys. It's coming up soon. We still have more volleyball to cover from the Nations League, but this match alone is really getting me excited for the Olympics, especially July 27th. I would mark my calendar if I were you guys, because I think that's the match you need to watch, because that's the potential finals matchup. Now, granted, maybe other teams pull upsets, but in my opinion, this is probably going to be the potential finals matchup. And my opinion might change with more videos and more time as I watch, but in my opinion, this could be it. That's it for today, guys, on this video. I hope you enjoyed the content that was given. Like I said earlier, if you like this video, that you please subscribe and hit the like button, as every like and subscription helps grow this YouTube channel so that we can continue talking about volleyball. And with that today, guys, thank you for taking your time to watch this video. And with that, thank you and goodbye.